Here's the grid then. Let's see what we've got. Believe it or not, the first kept pole position of the year for this man who starts on pole position, ROKiT Carlin's Louis Sharp. Next to him is James Higgins for Fortec. High-Tech Pole Snake's Will McIntyre, the championship leader, is on row 2. Josh Irfan is next. Then it's Deegan Fairclough and Dion Gowder. Fourth row, Mika Abrahams and Pat Hoytson-Roeder, Noah Lyle and Katano Lee. Then it is James Bizik and Gustav Johnson on row 6. Seventh row, Akil Alabai and Gabe Still, Jack Sherwood and Dowie Dedeker on the 8th row, followed by Sonny Smith and Isaac Barashi on row 9. And the 10th row, completing the grid, Kai Darianani. Now this is the grid that's fastest off the front and is the time that they set in qualifying. We kind of build up to that now. So Louis Sharp had double pole, won the first race. He's really hit form this weekend. He
certainly has. There's definitely something's changed in the break. I know one thing is Jamie Caroline's now coaching him, our commentator whenever I'm not here.
The name Caroline out of the comms box, can we?
So yeah, he helped Sharp, and I saw them celebrating the pole and the win yesterday. He also still helps Sonny Smith now and again.
Right.
Yeah, that obviously worked for him as well. So really, Caroline's had 2 wins out of 2 races so far.
He has, hasn't he? And he could make it 3 here with the man who lost the championship. Now, bear in mind, we didn't see the last round here on ITV of the F4 Championship because they had an away day with the BARC, which is our organising club at Silverstone. And from Silverstone, the news was that Will McIntyre took over the championship lead. The race winners were Josh Irfan, Noah Lyle and Jimmy Pizik. So we had, again, different winners. 10 different winners now, 20 different drivers on the podium. Incredible. First podium yesterday for Isaac Barashi. Congratulations for him. I was watching on the bank that you can see around about there to the right of his shot. And just next to me was Kai Darianani's sister and mum. And I didn't interrupt them because they were just... It's fascinating to watch families watch siblings in the race. And they were just like absolutely glued to the race. And I caught up with them this morning. He said, "Oh, thank you for not spoiling our enjoyment of the race." He did a good race as well, Kai. I think everybody's capable of podiums in this formula, particularly with the reverse grid race, which was absolutely mint yesterday. Really good race. The fastest off the front race, a little bit more pedestrian because overtaking is going to be difficult for sure, but we did see some battles. We did see the likes of Will McIntyre in third, trying to climb up ahead of James Higgins. Couldn't quite do it, but we might see the same here, cat and mouse. Wet conditions, though, Phil, is that going to alter things?
I don't think it's too wet, to be honest. It did rain just before the race. They're still on slicks, so no, I think it's going to be all good. It might rain again during the race, which will make it very exciting, but it's all about sort of trying to pick up as much grip as you can if it does rain and stay off the curbs. So let's see what they can do.
The normal procedures are followed as we get ready for the start of this one. Sharp gets away well. McIntyre hooks up very well from third place. We've got a staller at the back on the grid. That could be a safety car.
Stilp.
That's a major shame. Gabe Stilp, though. Look at the challenge for second position.
Contact with McIntyre.
McIntyre and James Higgins. Higgins is in the gravel. That will be a safety car straight away.
Yeah, that's a real shame for Higgins because he started on the front row. He didn't quite get off the line. McIntyre got the run on him, but he's obviously tried to go on the outside, and then they make contact. Oh, big contact there. That's he's hit the wall.
That's Hoytson-Roeder.
Hoytson-Roeder has had a big shunt through the chicane by the looks of it.
Abraham's off as well, the blue stripe on the Forte car. They're still racing, and we could get more casualties. I guess if there are any more, we've got the safety car to sort them out, which is not ideal, but not a great start. Now they're picking up the signal that the safety car is out. There is James Higgins, who is going to be very disappointed, of course. I generally say race winner but they've all won races now, pretty much all of them. Hoytson-Roeder in the 17.
It's good to see Hoytson-Roeder out of the car there, because that did look like he'd had a bit of contact with something. And he's you can see there's another Fortec car off as well, which was Abraham. So yeah, bad start from Higgins. McIntyre got the run. Let's see them go into the first corner. You can see once again just obviously a bit of wheel spin, and McIntyre got the run. But McIntyre and Louis Sharp are going to be running right at the front, and they're battling for the championship. Let's see what happened now. Higgins tries to go on the outside, just clipped his wheel. Obviously McIntyre had to take to the apex. That pushed him wide, and you can see the other Fortec car as well had big contact as well just before they go through turn 2. So both Fortec cars out.
Yeah, miserable race for them, isn't it? Here's the other angle.
Yeah, it's a struggle because it gets so tight. It's a bottleneck going into turn 2, coming out of turn 1 at Croft here. So it's a real struggle to not make contact when there's cars running side by side. Yeah, let's see what happened for the... big shunt there. That was... it was airborne as it hit the curb going through the chicane. I tell you what, I've not seen any single-seaters do that for a long time. We used to see it at Rockingham quite a lot.
Yeah, we did, you're right, yeah. That's a red flag. So, yeah, I think the race director taking the decision, quite a lot of clearing up to do, get a bit of thought into it. Is there a lot of rain coming down as well? It looked like there was some rain going through shot possibly as well. You said there was one more shower on the way, Phil, so it might be... It's not going to be enough maybe for wet tyres, but at the end of the day, this James Higgins...
Yeah, real shame for him.
Difficult in turn one, isn't it? Because Will McIntyre got it hooked up, and you could argue had the line into turn one.
Yes, you can. Obviously, he clipped the inside curb. Let's just see again what happened. As they go through the chicane, there's no tyre bail there anymore. I think they take it away for the F4s. But if you just look further back, they're all riding over the curb. But look how high the car went up in the air. And obviously, Lyle has done a great job to avoid that car that's come across him. But that's done a lot of damage to that car, and it will have actually hurt his back quite a bit as he's landed. But, yeah, I'm pleased to see him out of the car. And obviously, he'll go to the medical centre and get checked out.
He's saying he's back, yeah. Poor Abby Eaton had a similar thing, didn't she, with sausage curbs a year or so ago, or a couple of years ago, and it's that sort of thing you don't want to have to put up with.
No, that is quite unusual to see that. I've literally not seen that for a while in single seaters on a British circuit. But like we said earlier, the track at Rockingham had a chicane like that quite a few years ago now, and they would land down on the apex curb and it would take off. But yeah, I think they was trying to run 2x2 as they went through the chicane, which is what's caused that issue. But yeah, not good.
No, it's not, and our top two still in the championship. Funny thing, well, I've come to the circuit this morning as we continue to look at the 29 car, and I'll tell you what, time for a little bit of chat a little bit later on. So we are under red flags here. Driver's okay, which is the key thing, and we'll be back with you for some more racing in just a few moments. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Croft. We're under red flags here on the round 21 of the ROKiT F4 British Championship for 2023. Lost 3 drivers from the mix. We'll show you what happened. One of those, the 29 car, Mika Abrahams for Fortec, his Fortec teammate, out of the mix as well. So Phil, here's what happened. Yeah,
as you go through turn 1, you can see McIntyre just hit the inside curb, and that put him into Higgins, who turned him round. But I honestly think that's just a bit of racing going side by side. You can see Abrahams as well. He got taken out or was trying to avoid something through turn 2. And then you go through the chicane, and you can see that there's obviously a big curb on the inside that they're there's 2 cars running side by side. So that was Lyle and Hoitzenroder. And Hoitzenroder had to go to the curb, and it's just launched the car in the air. And that he's lucky not to flip that, and yeah, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt a lot, because you do not want to be going down as hard as that in a single seater, because you literally sat on the floor as it is.
The other thing is, it's a lot of the grass around here is quite boggy. I know people have been moving things around Croft Circuit to try and make sure people don't get bogged down with a lot of rain that was anticipated. Thankfully, we haven't had so far. But what I'm getting around saying is that Hoitzenroder landed on the rallycross circuit as part of the hard standing there, rather than on the boggy grass. So that would not have helped him. Whereas normally, if you'd launch up, you might land on the grass. Yeah.
Well, he's gone to the medical centre, so let's hope he's all okay and back at the next round. So. And then the 2 Fortec cars of Abrahams and Higgins all out of the race as well. So real shame for the guys at Fortec.
It is a little bit of a pity, isn't it? Hello, we're on telly with a bit of crowd surfing here. I tell you what, really good crowd. Always, I don't know what it is about Croft, but on a Saturday when you come and chat to the drivers, you get more members of the public chatting to you. It's so friendly up here in the northeast.
They love it. They absolutely love it up here. And obviously with all the banks as well, you fill the banks with all the crowds. It looks amazing, and yeah, great for the drivers when you're on the sort of cool down lap and wave into the crowd. It's a great feeling. So yeah, great to see them out, especially in the weather like this, where it's windy, a little bit cold, and it keeps raining.
And that bit where we are at the moment, around turn 1, it was the fence was completely lined with spectators at 9 o'clock this morning. You know, sort of 3.5 hours or whatever before racing started. Yeah. So keen to get in, get a good slot, and they are good slots all around. The banking viewing here, all around the track, is absolutely mint.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Great circuit. All the drivers love coming here. It sometimes brings some funny weather conditions, but you know, that's what the drivers love, and as you can see, the viewers love it too. So no, it's a fantastic place to come.
I wouldn't sit there though.
No, we're all right in the commentary.
Well,
Nice and
well, in the chat, do you know, it's quite funny, again, chatting to Kai Darianani's mum, and she said, oh, where did you commentate from? And we have a little shed that's on scaffolding. And she said, I thought that was a storage unit. I said, they store old commentators in it.
Before I started doing this, I thought it was a toilet. No, it's lovely, really. They do a great job. They look after us well. So, yeah, let's hope we can get this race underway soon. But just going to this guy here, Louis Sharp, who actually got a penalty in race 2 for having contact with McIntyre. So these guys,
that happened, did it?
Yeah, they got a 5-place penalty from race 2. So that put him behind McIntyre. So, yeah, they finished near the back anyway. But, yeah, there was a bit of contact. They called it it was an instant that the blame was put onto Sharp. So, yes, it's getting hot between those guys now, isn't it? The championship is getting close.
Consider it's messed my championship points up.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I did last night. It was quite funny actually, because when you come to a racetrack early, I mean, we get in early because we chat to people and everything else. I thought it'd be a nice idea. We'll do a track walk this morning, so I'll have a quick look down the support paddock, see if there are any drivers that want to have a track walk. So I bumped into Toby Trice from Porsche. I'd love to come with you, but I've got to go to a judicial. Fair enough, Toby. All right, thanks very much. Walked down the paddock a little bit more, bumped into a Mini driver. I'd love to come with you, but me and another guy have got to go for a judicial. Bumped into Will McIntyre. Do you want to come and get? No, I've got to go to a judicial.
Yeah,
the only time you see young drivers at the racetrack, early in the morning when they don't need to be, is when they've got to go and see the clerk.
Exactly, yeah. You should have invited me. I'd have come on a track walk with you.
Oh, you should. Oh, it would have been good.
I was in bed, though, I think.
Oh, right, okay. We're gonna show you the grid again as we look forward to this race. It will be happening shortly. So here's the grid for the restart of round 21. Louis Sharp from James Higgins. Well, James isn't there. Will McIntyre will be there, as will Josh Irfan, Deegan Fairclough and Dion Gowder on row 3. Fourth row, Mika Abrahams, an absentee will be Patrick Hoytson-Roeder. Noah Lyle will be there with Kanato Lee, Jimmy Pazik and Gustav Johnson on row 6. Akil Alabai next up. Hopefully Gabe Still will get it off the line this time. Then Jack Sherwood and Dowie De Decker, Sonny Smith, yesterday's winner, and Isaac Barashi on row 9. Wrapping up the grid is Kai Darianani. So that's how they line up. We think it's starting to, that other shower that you were talking about when we were during our ad break, to me, saying that there's another shower coming in. We think one more shower. But there's a lot of cloud cover, Phil. So it's going to be a game of chess, isn't it, for the rest of the afternoon, possibly?
I think so, yeah. It'll be exciting if it does rain, but it doesn't look like it is at the minute. The spectators still look pretty happy. There's no umbrellas going up, so not like it was at Spa yesterday for the F1. That was absolutely chucking it down just before the sprint race. But yeah, although there are a few drops coming on our screen right now, and those umbrellas have gone down, so maybe it's raining on half the circuit and not the other half.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, that will make it very exciting.
Talk about interesting, we've got another team joining us on the grid for next year. I believe there was an announcement made recently, and a team that you know well.
Yep, a Ginetta Junior team that have been dominating recently. They've won the last 2 years of the championship and about to win the third. So, yeah, they've been very successful in juniors, and they're going to move up to F4. So, let's see.
You haven't named them yet.
R Racing.
That's it, there we go.
There's only one Ginetta Junior team that have been dominating recently.
Yeah, but the other viewers, we'll mention them. And yeah, it'd be great, wouldn't it, to get them on board. The more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely, yeah, no, it'd be great. But yeah, let's see what happens now. All on slicks. It's starting to rain. You can see the safety car Porsche have got their wipers on, so there's obviously some rain coming down. Let's see how these guys can cope with it.
Yeah, this is going to be fascinating, and even more so because we've got the top two in the championship together. Now, prior to that judicial, the gap had come down to around about 8 points, so it will have gone out again to, I think it was a 24-25 point lead that Will McIntyre had coming into this weekend, and he's got one win under his belt so far. Louis Sharp with 3.
It's interesting, that, isn't it? McIntyre leading the championship, and he's only had one win.
I know.
It just shows how consistent he's been.
Yeah, and it shows how competitive the championship's been this year, because when we were at Donington Park that first round, Sharp won races 1 and 2, and we thought it was going to be a Sharp benefit this year.
Yeah.
And then 10 different drivers now, following the Silverstone outing, have won races. It is so competitive this year.
Yeah, no, it's a great little championship, and yeah, let's see if we can see any more winners this season. But it does look like Louis Sharp, who was very good in the wet. I do remember at the first round at Donington. So if it does rain, I think the conditions do suit him quite well.
When I looked down the points last night when I was preparing for this morning or this afternoon's race, the one name that hasn't had a win that sort of struck out, and there are several drivers still haven't had a win, but Deegan Fairclough hasn't had one yet. I think he's overdue one. Certainly, maybe he's not been in the right place, because for the reverse grid races he's usually higher up, and here of course he's against the drivers that have got a little bit more experience.
Did he not have one, but it got taken off him? Was that at Brands? Yeah. No, I do remember him. Yeah, he did actually win
a win-win.
Yeah, an actual win. Yeah, no, he's been great. He's been fantastic this year. He's been the is it the ROKiT competition winner?
That's right. Yeah, on the sim.
Yeah, the sim driving. So yeah, he's been very mainly consistent. He's had a few sort of incidents, but I think he's starting quite high up today. He's in 5th place. He's had a 5th and a 7th, I think, so far this weekend. So let's see if he can creep up any further in the final race of the weekend for the F4s.
Like Joseph Logue before him, an ex-BRSCC Fiesta Junior driver, so it doesn't matter what junior racing you cut your teeth in, the opportunities can be there. As you watch Louis Sharp bring them, the young Kiwi, bringing Rodin to Carlin Racing. It's Rodin Carlin Racing this year, and a gap where James Higgins should have been, and then on row 2 it is Will McIntyre and Josh Irfan. It's good to see Josh back on the top step of the podium at Silverstone last time out as well. So a slightly decreased field. Second bite of the cherry field, the very exciting Gabe Stilp, who was great yesterday, gave another driver who's made it 2 podiums in 2 meetings, really getting to grips with the cars. But it's Sharp who will, in theory, lead from McIntyre off the start. We watch the rest of them, everybody away this time, and this is the nerve-biting bit, isn't it, where we come down into Clervaux for the first time. McIntyre has a go for the lead, goes out, grabs a little bit of curb side by side for that 3rd position. Dion Gouda looking around the outside for Carlin. De Decker, I think, kicking up a little bit of dirt there towards the back, this time all around that part safely.
Yeah, you can see McIntyre's got a bit of a run now on Sharp as they go down the bumpy straight, ready for Tower. Is he going to try and make a move early doors? Or he has a lock-up, big lock-up, but I think he'll get away with it. You can lock up quite easily in these cars and get away with it, but yeah, it's a Fairclough that's in 3rd place there.
Yeah, Deegan making a good start, gets ahead of Irfan, so that puts JHR up in the mix as well with the front runners, so good stuff from him as they make their way around. Now they sort themselves out, not to say there won't be incident. Fairclough closing in big time here on the 2nd place car, so McIntyre under pressure here. He needs to keep Louis Sharp in his sights, the 2nd place driver, for championship points, so he won't want Fairclough going past him. He'll want to be battling for the lead, but Deegan Fairclough looking very racy here on lap 1. He's come out of the traps very quickly.
He certainly is. He's all over the back of McIntyre. Is he going to try and go for the switchback as they go into the hairpin? He's going to try and get a better run, but you can see now the 3 Carlin guys are coming after Fairclough, so a lot of racing further back. Don't get on that slippery exit curve coming out of the hairpin. There's a great battle between those guys, but yeah, Sharp's got away now. McIntyre 2nd, Fairclough 3rd, and then the 3 Carlin guys are Gouda, Irfan and Lyle, and then we've got further back one of the CDR cars battling with High Tech.
Yeah, we have, that's Johnson, isn't it, coming through? So Gustav Johnson, the leading rookie, the leading 1st-year car driver, and that's been a good championship in itself. Going back to Silverstone, we had the first 1, 2, 3 of the year for High Tech Pulsate.
Yeah, we did.
Super result for them, a podium lockout for them. As sure, the inside goes Kanato Lee through on the inside of Johnson. Kanato been a little bit off colour this weekend, the young Japanese driver, but working hard here, gets ahead of, we're down to 2 cars now. We've lost Dan Ginchard, haven't we, from the championship, hopefully just for the moment, not to see Dan back, but CDR down to 2 cars.
Yeah, I think that was actually Lee just keeping in front of Sherwood there. Right. Sorry, Johnson, and yeah, he didn't quite get the move done. But yeah, you can see Lee's gone to the inside, defending well and keeping him behind. So yeah, Kanato, yeah, he's been very quick this season. He's not having a great weekend so far, but as you can see, Sharp just now pulling away very slightly. As you can see, Lee and Johnson still battling away for 8th place.
They are really getting stuck in well, aren't they? So good race between those 2, and this is good for Sharp to get away. There in the number 7 is Gabe Stilt, who was very exciting to watch yesterday. I think that's Sonny Smith that he's dicing with, and was dicing with the closing stages of yesterday's reverse grid race. Jack Sherwood quick yesterday as well.
Yeah, I was talking to CDR, and they did have a quick car on Friday. They were a bit disappointed they didn't get a better result in qualifying, and that's made it very difficult for the races. But they've been performing well recently, and yeah, they were hoping for a much better result. But yeah, Sherwood got a result yesterday in the reverse grid race, and yeah, Johnson still fighting hard there with Lee, and Sherwood's right behind Pasik.
Absolutely right. Now let's see how this pans out. We've got Irfan, the winner at Silverstone last time out. Noah Lyle right behind him, so the 2 winners in fact from Silverstone, and Lyle, who was doubling up with Spanish F4, now focused very much on this championship, has done well despite missing a round, it has to be said. Sharp though, this is what the doctor ordered for him out front, isn't it? 1.184 seconds, McIntyre with Fairclough right with him. And I've got to say, it's actually closer than yesterday's first fast teeth in, Neil. Fastest off the front race, too many Fs.
Gowder as well, he's starting to chase down Fairclough, so that's going to give McIntyre a bit of a break, whilst Gowder starts to put pressure on Fairclough. So let's see if there's going to be any more rain that's going to throw this race up in the air, but at the minute it's looking great. Look at them as they come through turn one. It's a big old bump as you come over the exit apex curb, and trying to keep it on the circuit and not run too wide, because obviously you've got gravel on the exit of turn one going into turn two.
Yeah, it's a very, very tricky circuit for them, and arguably Knockhill is going to be even more of a challenge for them. It's a very well tended circuit, of course, Knockhill, in a fortnight's time. And amazing to think, after that, we've only got 2 more rounds to go, including the quadruple header, which is going to be Donington Park, our penultimate event of the season, which we're greatly looking forward to. And Gowder's got pole for that one, remember, one of the extra races there.
Yeah.
So if he can hook it up in testing and during that meeting, that's the thing, it changes, Phil, doesn't it? Track to track, team to team, you never quite know who's going to be up front.
No, exactly. It's so competitive with these top teams that just manage to get the edge on their rivals at different circuits. And yeah, obviously that weekend was Carlin's way with Gowder being on pole, but will it work for him at Donington when they put that race in? Was it Snetterton that they missed the race?
It was Snetterton, yeah. They did okay on Donington on the short track, didn't they? But they're running on the GP circuit when we go back there, which is going to be interesting to watch. Fine sight these cars make, and I say with new teams coming in, it's going to get even more exciting for next year. We'll look forward to hearing how many drivers come back and how many new drivers come in, maybe from some of the junior championships that come around. But getting stuck in here is Akil Alibi looking at Jack Sherwood.
Yep.
Past the loads of Sherwood lorries on the way up here on Friday. They were busy.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Alibi, he's definitely putting pressure on Sherwood here, isn't he? And that's bringing Stilp into this race. So Alibi is trying to get past. He tried to go for a run into turn one and again down into Tower, but Sherwood's got this covered. Now, can Alibi get on the inside here, which is going to actually put him on the outside going through the Jim Clark S's? It doesn't look like he's got the run. Sherwood doing a great job, but now let's watch Stilp. Can he attack going into Sunny Inn as they come through the S's, through Barcroft, and then can he throw it down the inside? It looks like he's thinking about it, but no. Alibi's got it covered, but Sherwood runs a little bit wide before they turn into Sunny out.
Yeah, a little bit of a mistake there. Not enough for Alibi to nip up the inside, but I echo your sentiment there, Phil. The one to watch here is perhaps Gabe Still. He was very exciting to watch yesterday. Sure, reverse grid race, but he had that opportunity at the front, and he was driving his socks off in that car. It was an absolute joy to watch. Alibi takes a wide run there. This is real cat and mouse between these three, and down behind them we've got Sonny Smith wanting to join in as well. Sonny taking a very good second win in the championship yesterday. A little bit of drift to this battle. I think his head's been dropping a little bit, but there's absolutely no need for that. He's a quality driver, he's a good attacking driver, and Sherwood here doing a good job of defending. Yesterday was battling for podia, today a little bit further back. Alibi trying to do absolutely everything he can to get on terms. Out of Hawthorn, down through the chicane, onto the, well, we say back straight, it isn't actually straight if you ever look at it or do the walk. See some of the shots that are there. And Sherwood with a difficult job here. He'd love to be able to try and close back in on the man in front, which is Jimmy Pazig. He's got a huge gap. Is he settling down a little bit now? Is this the kind of mid-race lull that you sometimes get before they charge again before the end?
Yeah, it looks like he is dropping further back from Pazig, but that's because he's got so much pressure and he's trying to keep the guys behind him, so he's always going to lose a little bit of time. But they're doing a good job. They're still doing some fairly quick lap times, but the guy out front, he's done a 17.8. He's got the fastest lap of the race so far, and that's because he's got clean air. He's managing just to get his head down and pull away slowly. So yeah, you can see McIntyre, he's still there, but he's a tenth or two just slower than Sharp at the minute, and he's managed to pull away from Fairclough.
He is, so Sharp, McIntyre, Fairclough, 1.3 seconds first. There is the young New Zealander who goes through. My son was watching yesterday, and he's never really looked at the holding area, but he was saying, goodness me, suddenly clicked with him just how many nationalities come and race with us in this championship now.
Yeah, it's impressive, isn't it? It's great, the fact that we've got a British championship with so many different nationalities. But yeah, just good looking at this car out front, you can see how bumpy this circuit is. You can see the cars as they go into the braking zone here, into Tower. Look at the way they're bouncing. It's so difficult to manage to always pick your turning point, always get your apexes. without making mistakes and without locking up, because obviously you're always trying to turn and brake at the same time, and that's when you get the lockups, especially over the bumps.
So coming into the chicane. This is closing up a little. Akil Alibi having second wind here and having a go.
He's close now.
Jack Sherwood, let's see whether he can. It is one thing closing up, quite another passing particularly here, but Sherwood looking a little bit vulnerable here maybe.
He is, yeah, and he does run a little bit wide going into Sonny in. Oh, you can see Stilp just running a little bit wide out of Sonny out. And then you've got Sonny himself chasing him down as well. He's just staying on the back of this pack, isn't he? Sonny having a great win yesterday, like you said. He's been having a rough time of it, and he nearly didn't race yesterday, so I'm pleased he did, because he got the win and he deserved it. So let's hope we can see some better form going forward for Sonny Smith.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to Sherwood, he's dealing with this pressure quite well, to be fair. You can see now as he's going to turn into turn one, he's just pulled a little bit on Alibi there, and now Alibi just needs to try and get his head down and get back in the slipstream going down the back straight. Yeah,
this is pretty much what we saw of the story of race one yesterday. That some good battles, not too much in terms of overtaking, as we still have the 5 minutes left on the clock. Sharp now up to 1.5 seconds clear. In turn, McIntyre 3.1 seconds ahead of Fairclough, so gapped him as we through the trees. Oh, there's a mistake there as someone runs a little bit wide.
Still just ran a little bit wide, yep, coming out of tower there, but this is where all the drivers are telling me that they're struggling when they're following cars closely. It's through the high-speed stuff. They get that aero wash. They get the aero isn't quite as clean as if you're leading or as if you're doing a quali lap without anyone in front of you. So you just end up getting a little bit of understeer, and you don't quite have the grip that you have when you're testing. So it's a real struggle for the drivers to adapt, and it's a struggle for the teams and the engineers to adapt, so that when you're setting up the car, you've got to almost think about, if you're chasing down someone, do you need to make an adjustment to stop the understeer?
Nice shot there of Alibi just lifting a wheel as he came into the complex, trying absolutely everything he can to get on terms with Jack Sherwood. And it's not just about 10th place, it's a championship point here. If you can make the pass, he's really harrying him. And Sherwood hanging on for that point in the 78 car for everything he's absolutely worth at the moment. Down to Hawthorne as we go again. Still the Gabe Stilp looking for another podium in the rookie championship. Still second in the rookies from Johnson at the moment. It's Josh Irfan winning this. Josh Irfan's come back into the rookie championship, isn't he? He's clawing his way up. He's third, but he's about 40 points down. By taking a win in this one, he will sort of edge closer to the rookie championship lead, so he's really gaining a bit of momentum. Carlin, of course, would be delighted to get a double, wouldn't they, rookie and overall? Yeah,
absolutely. But did you say it was Johnson that's leading that at the minute?
Johnson does, yeah.
Yeah, he's the team were telling me that he was on for a pretty good qualifying lap to be near the front, but unfortunately it was Sherwood that caused the red flag in qualifying, his teammate, and that obviously stopped Johnson from getting an even better qualifying position than he did. But yeah, they're looking good, CDR. They're definitely starting to take it to the guy likes of High-Tech and Carlin, who have been battling away at the front of this championship. I think it's those two teams that are first and second in the teams championship as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's they obviously run cars in many different formulas all the way up to F2, and there's talks of High-Tech even bidding for an F1 team in the future. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes, and obviously having many categories of F4, F3, F2, and then maybe even F1. There's a lot of drivers going to be wanting to be on their books.
Absolutely right, yeah, they will. This guy has bounced back from that judicial this morning superbly, isn't he? You know, that kind of thing can get into a driver's mindset. The way they approach it, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily expect that, because it's a professionally run team. Louis Sharp is a very grounded young man. His dad looks after him as well. The management team look after him, and obviously Hussein, he's getting a bit of coaching from Jamie Caroline now as well. So that hasn't affected him. This battle, though, look at this now. It's a straight two-way fight at the moment. 4 10th position. This is for the solitary point. Alibi sets up on the outside, trying to get a run on the exit of this car. Look how close he's getting. Sherwood locks up. Under braking there, and Alibi chasing him all the way, and now they slow each other up, and this is bringing Gabe Stilp back into the things.
I thought that was it then, because you could see Sherwood started to defend going through the kink of Barcroft, and then I thought he was going to run a little bit wider so that Alibi was going to throw it down the inside, but no such luck on this lap. But you can see a few more raindrops coming down, so that might make it a little bit easier for him, or harder. Let's see if he can do anything. But they're pulled away a little bit from Stilp, but as you can see, there's a battle going on with Lyle and Kanato Lee there as they go through turn one. Lyle manages to keep position from Lee.
Yeah, this is for 6th place, so there he goes, leaves the door open, and Canato won't say no to that one. Over the curb goes Noah Lyle, loses the position, but that fight well caught by our directors there, losing a place, losing a little bit more momentum, and Jimmy Pazik going through. This is the battle ahead of the long-standing one that we've been watching, who are following through at the back. Here comes Jack Sherwood. These two have got away from Gabe Stilt once again. Gabe trying to close in. Yesterday was that point in the season for me where it just looked like Gabe was starting to click with the car, but we'll come back to this.
Now look again, you see he's slowed down considerably there to make sure that he doesn't do the same as what happened to Hoytsenrode there.
Right.
So he's slowed down, he's gone further to the left of that bump and lost 3 places there. So
could have lost a lot more though.
Exactly, yeah, he did the right thing not to smash the floor and take off again. But look at this, Sharp now, he's going to be going on to his final lap as he comes through the hairpin. Further back, there seems to be a lot of battles, but it's all spread out at the front. Last lap.
It is the last lap, so 8 points will be gained here if Sharp makes it to the flag, plus points for the Motul fastest lap. Change of position here, being passed there is Sherwood. Alibi finally gets the move done.
He's done the move that I thought he was going to do the lap before, but this time he's managed to make it stick, threw it down the inside. Sherwood couldn't turn in. Great move from Alibi.
Yeah, he's a driver, he's improving, you know, moved up from Janetta Juniors, and he looks very settled in single-seaters to me, Akil. He's very quiet, he's enjoying his racing, but that was a lovely move. Great racing from Sherwood as well.
You can see it's just starting to rain a little bit more. It's starting to get a little bit slippery through turn 1 and 2. And there's Sonny Smith, who's just trying to get back on terms with Still. That's allowed Alibi now. Look how much he's pulled on Sherwood just in that half lap.
He has, isn't he? He's getting away. That's that solitary point. He's not going to close down on Noah Lyle. This man, though, is going to take the win. Louis Sharp, who has bagged a first double pole of the season for him here this weekend. And what a time to do it as we sort of enter the second half of our TOCA season. 2.028 seconds clear on the last lap. And it's the Rodin Carlin number 11 car of the young New Zealander, Louis Sharp, who will take the checkered flag. There it is, a win for him. Will McIntyre maintains the championship lead, barring any judicials on the incident on the first start, of course. So he takes second. It's Deegan Fairclough on the podium in third, Dion Gowder in 4th place from Josh Irfan, and then Kanato Lee in 6th.
There was a 5-second penalty given at the end there to Stilt. So, yeah, that would have been for track limits, I'm sure, because, there's been a few drivers that have been running a little bit wide, but great drive from Sharp. He needed that to just bring him back on terms with McIntyre for the championship. So, yeah, it's getting close now, isn't it?
It is getting very close indeed, and, you know, we're around further on for this championship, as we mentioned. So the nail-biting bits start to come in, but Sharp is showing no sign of being affected by nerves this weekend at all. Double win this weekend then for Louis Sharp from championship leader Will McIntyre. Deegan Fairclough completes the podium. Dion Gowder in 4th from Josh Irfan. Then it was Kanato Lee and Gustav Johnson. Jimmy Pazik in 8th from Noah Lyle, and a hard-earned 10th place for Akil Alibi. 11th goes to Jack Sherwood from Sonny Smith. Then it was Isaac Barashi in 13th, and then a trio of rookies, Gabe Stilt and Dewi Dedeker completing that. Kai Darinani ahead of James Higgins, Mika Abrahams and Patrick Hoytsenrode, of course, didn't take the restart after incidents on lap 1 of the first. Championship standings as we look forward to our trip north of the border. Will McIntyre just 6 points clear now of Louis Sharp, all to play for as we head north. 3rd is Dion Gowder from Deegan Fairclough. Jimmy Pazik in 5th from Kanato Lee and James Higgins. Noah Lyle is in 8th, Akil Alibi in 9th, and Dan Ginchard 10th. So always love the shot when they come down the pit lane, the applause of the teams applauding their drivers and all of the drivers for putting on a good race here in what could have been tricky conditions, to be absolutely fair, as they make their way down there, the end of the pit lane into Parc Fermé. And we'll get to see the celebrations, but really, really close now as we head into the last 3 race meeting. We wouldn't want it any other way. The drivers, of course, want to do it. There's the celebration from Louis Sharp in the Rodin Carlin number 11 car. Absolutely delighted about that. Little hug for Louis as he gets out of the car, and he'll probably go across and congratulate Will McIntyre as well. There's Deegan Fairclough.
There's Caroline. He didn't need to congratulate. He's got them all.
Do you want to buy a watch? Good old Jamie. and he looks rightly pleased with that one. And Will McIntyre, and the winner goes over to congratulate Will as well. Will, understandably, perhaps not looking as happy in second position, but good championship points. But that's what you want. You want a good close championship between these guys, and the viewers at home want to see that. And Louis would be delighted for a double win here. Johnny's actually there, so let's go down and talk to Will with, Louis with Johnny.
Louis, that's quite a race victory in the end. A couple of seconds. You had one yesterday too, and a couple of pole positions along the way as well. So it's been a good weekend, all told, here at Croft.
Yeah, it's been a great weekend. Big thank you to the team, Rod and Carl, and the boys and girls here, but also back at the factory have done a really good job of giving me a great car. No, it's been a perfect weekend, really. Obviously, we the last few weekends haven't been how they probably should be. We've maybe lacked a bit of pace, so it's good to have bounced back with a pole position and 2 wins.
And you're inching closer to the championship lead. Will McIntyre there at the moment, but I reckon it's down to 6 points according to Richard John Neal. So, game on for the final few races of the season.
Yeah, it's close. Obviously, we were leading the championship all year until last round, where we didn't really have a very good weekend. So now to be back closer to the lead, it's a good position to be in. But obviously, I still want to be first. We're going to still keep on pushing, and hopefully we can get there.
Plenty more races, of course, to do that, and we will have a word with actually Will McIntyre as well to get your feelings on a good weekend. But as I said to Louis just then, the championship lead has narrowed in favour of him.
Yeah, I think it's the first weekend since round 1 where I think Louis outscored me. So yeah, it's definitely been a difficult weekend. Obviously, knowing that he was catching a bit, but yeah, his pace was just too strong today and yesterday. So yeah, hats off to him. He done a brilliant job, and yeah, to be honest, I couldn't have done much more myself, especially in that one.
Croft for saloon cars is known as a pretty good track to overtake, but it's a different story in single seaters when you've got the dirty air to think about as well.
Yeah, I mean, like most of your options are really into tower corner and final corner. So there's the only really 2 corners that you can overtake unless somebody makes a huge mistake. So realistically, after lap 1, you're not even if you're 0.6, half a second faster a lap time, you're not really going to be able to overtake. So after that, I just sort of chilled behind and accepted that P2 isn't that bad.
Certainly not, and I think you'll be grateful of the points at the end of the season as well. Well done, Will McIntyre. And we move now to the 3rd place finisher, Deegan Fairclough. You had a battle on, certainly mid-race, but then were able to gap the field again. It's sort of like that 2-second margin was the crucial one to have.
I mean, these cars are really difficult to race behind someone because of the dirty air. But yeah, honestly, I've gave it my all this weekend, and there's been these little mistakes that I've done during qualifying and through the race, and we haven't been able to just pounce on obviously this top step. But I want to dedicate that 3rd place to Bob Fernley for his passing recently a few weeks ago, and that I'm just very dedicated. It's all dedicated towards him. So I'm super grateful for everything he's done for me to get me into this position, being in the British F4. And I'm giving it my all this year, and definitely for the second half towards him.
Congratulations, Deacon. I'm sure there are plenty in the paddock as well that will echo those thoughts. So well said, young man. Congratulations on 3rd position.